Have you ever wondered why thousands of men in the 12th century left their homes and families, braved treacherous journeys and fierce battles, all in the name of faith? This isn't a tale of adventure or glory, but a story of a profound commitment to a cause that transcended individual lives. Imagine a time when the world was a mosaic of clashing cultures, tangled politics and religious fervor. The answer lies in the tumultuous and intriguing events of the Second Crusade. Our tale begins in 1145 with Pope Eugenius III issuing a call to arms. As the leader of the Catholic Church, the Pope's voice resonated in every corner of Europe. This call was not unprovoked. The county of Edessa, a key Christian stronghold, had fallen to Muslim forces, leaving a gaping hole in the Christian presence in the Middle East. This loss struck a chord in the hearts of the faithful, and the Pope saw an opportunity to rally the Christian world for a holy cause. But the Pope was not alone in this endeavor. Bernard of Clairvaux, a dynamic and charismatic cleric, took up the mantle of promoting the crusade. His powerful sermons, filled with vivid imagery of the Holy Land in peril, stoked the fires of religious fervor. He promised eternal salvation to those who took up the cross, a potent allure for the faithful of the time. With the religious fervor ignited and the promise of eternal salvation, thousands answered the call, ready to reclaim the Holy Land. Their journey to the east was fraught with trials and tribulations. As they embarked on this monumental quest, the Crusaders found themselves not only battling the elements and the harsh terrain, but also their own deep-seated differences. The journey was arduous and grueling. They trekked through sweltering deserts where the sun was a relentless adversary, and navigated treacherous mountain passes where each step could spell disaster. Disease and starvation were constant companions, claiming many lives. Yet, these physical challenges were but a fraction of the obstacles they faced. Beneath the unified front of the Crusaders, there were deep rifts, particularly between the French and German contingents. Cultural differences bred misunderstanding, and strategic disagreements escalated into bitter conflicts. These divisions were not merely petty squabbles among comrades. They had disastrous effects on the crusade, undermining the collective strength of the Crusaders and weakening their resolve. But it was not all discord and despair. Amidst the hardships, there were glimmers of hope and unity, stories of shared meals, songs sung together under starlight, and lives saved through mutual aid. These moments of camaraderie served as a reminder of the shared purpose that had brought them together on this perilous journey. But despite these challenges, the Crusaders pressed on, driven by their unwavering faith. Their conviction, their belief in the righteousness of their cause, that was the true force propelling them forward against all odds. It was this faith that carried them through the trials and onto the next chapter of their crusade. The climax of the Second Crusade came at the siege of Damascus in 1148. As the Crusaders approached Damascus, a city known for its wealth and beauty, they were not prepared for the formidable defense that awaited them. The city, surrounded by thick walls and a deep moat, was a daunting challenge. The Crusaders, confident of their conquest, made their first strategic mistake. Rather than launching a coordinated assault, they opted for a siege, underestimating the resilience of the Damascene forces. The people of Damascus, determined to protect their city, put up a fierce resistance. As days turned into weeks, the Crusaders found themselves grappling with a host of issues. Their supply lines were stretched thin, morale was low, and the unity among the Crusader leaders began to fracture. The situation was further exacerbated when their initial position, which had access to water and was shielded from the city's defenders, was inexplicably abandoned for a less advantageous location. This decision, largely seen as a blunder, made their position untenable. Meanwhile, the defenders of Damascus didn't sit idle. They cleverly exploited the Crusaders' weaknesses, launching relentless counterattacks and forging alliances with nearby Muslim states, further isolating the Crusaders. The final blow to the Crusaders came when their erstwhile ally, the Prince of Antioch, withdrew his forces, deeming the siege a lost cause. The siege was lifted after a mere 4 days, and the Crusaders retreated in disarray. This failure was a turning point in the Second Crusade. The Crusaders' dream of expanding their territories in the Holy Land was shattered. The unity among the Christian states fractured, giving way to petty rivalries and infighting. The Muslim states, on the other hand, emerged stronger, united in their resolve to defend their lands. The failure at Damascus marked the end of the Second Crusade, a stark contrast to the triumphant First Crusade. The aftermath of the Second Crusade was a time of reflection and consequence. The dust had barely settled on the battlefields of Damascus when the repercussions of the Crusade began to unfurl, reshaping the geopolitical landscapes of the Middle East and Europe. Back in the Middle East, the failure of the Crusaders to capture Damascus, one of the largest and most strategic cities of the region, had significant implications. The balance of power shifted noticeably. The Muslim forces under the astute leadership of Nur ad-Din united and strengthened their hold over the region. Their unity and resilience, strengthened by the failed crusade, would prove to be a formidable challenge for the Christian forces in the years to come. Across the sea, in the heartlands of Christian Europe, disillusionment seeped into the hearts of the faithful. The Second Crusade, preached with such fervor and anticipation, had ended not in a glorious victory but in bitter defeat. The knights and nobles who had once set off with dreams of liberating the Holy Land returned home with little to show for their efforts. The grandeur of the crusade had faded, replaced by a sense of loss and disappointment. And yet, in this disappointment, the seeds for the Third Crusade were sown. The failure of the Second Crusade exposed the weaknesses in the Christian forces, their lack of unity, their strategic blunders, the divisions among their leaders. These lessons would not be forgotten. They would be studied, analyzed, and used to prepare for the next crusade. The Second Crusade, a grand endeavor fueled by faith, ended in disappointment and loss, but its echoes reverberated through history, shaping the course of future crusades. Each setback, each defeat, was a stepping stone, a lesson learned in the long and arduous journey towards the elusive goal of recapturing the Holy Land. The aftermath of the Second Crusade, thus, was not just an end, but also a beginning. The start of a new chapter in the complex and turbulent history of the Crusades. So, what have we learned about the Second Crusade? This pivotal event was driven by a mix of religious fervor and political ambition. The arduous journey to the east tested the mettle of its participants, culminating in the pivotal siege of Damascus. The aftermath, however, was a testament to the unanticipated consequences of such endeavors. The Second Crusade, a chapter of history marked by faith, ambition, and human struggle, continues to fascinate us, reminding us of the complex tapestry of our past.